Christ, the solid rock I stand. All of the ground is sinking sand. We can trust God when we can't trace him. Number two, when we hold on to the fact that God's plans are always bigger than our plans. Jesus' plan in the Garden of Gethsemane was for the cup to pass. What the Father's plan was for him to take him down on his way to taking him up and exalting him for all eternity. In the Old Testament, the widow's plan was for her and her son to eat one last meal, one more loaf of bread, and die. But God's plan was to provide for her in that moment and each and every day. Our plans are narrow and limited and temporary, but God's plan is wide and unlimited and enduring. Come on, let me try it this way. God's plan will always be an upgrade over your plan. Come on, holla, thank you, holla, upgrade. No wonder Isaiah said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. You may be thinking, how you're going to pay this bill when God is looking to bless you with a job so you can sufficiently pay all of your bills. You may be stressing out about how you're going to pay your rent when God's plan is to help you get a hold of your finances and fix your spending habits and help you to save so that you can own your own home. You may be contemplating compromising with your boyfriend, but God's plan is to give you a husband and a family. You may be content just making it out of high school when God has a PhD with your name on it. You may be satisfied with spiritually surviving until Sunday, but God's plan is for you to be strong in the Lord until the day that you die. High five somebody with your mask still on and say, God's plan is bigger than my plan. It's almost time to go. We can trust God when we cannot trace him. Number three, when we realize and acknowledge that God specializes in turning a mess into a masterpiece. God specializes turning a mess into a masterpiece. Jesus was put into a virgin womb to an unwed mother, and her fiance didn't even live in town. They had a long distance relationship. Joseph and everybody knew that baby wasn't his, but God can turn a messy situation into a masterpiece. I need to hasten on. Jesus has been faithful, yet he's nailed to the cross. As God and man, Jesus had to grab a hold of and hang on to the fact that though life on this side was about to end, God the Father had not shriveled up, had not died, had not dried out. Consequently, his death on the cross wasn't a period, it was a comma, because early, I thought I'm in a Baptist church, early Sunday morning, he got up from the grave. There was a rattling, there was a shaking, and Jesus got up with all power in his hands. God can turn a mess into a masterpiece. But matter of fact, as I go through scripture, I find out that is God's MO. Talk to Moses. He's trapped at the Red Sea in front of him. Pharaoh's army behind him. But just in the nick of time, God opened up the waters and he walked through on dry ground. God turned a mess into a masterpiece. Saul had become arrogant and lost his anointing. But God raised up David, a man after his own heart. The three Hebrew boys had been faithful and found themselves in a fiery furnace. But God stepped in, and them jokers didn't even smell like smoke. I don't know about you. I can't barbecue no ribs. I can't barbecue no chicken and not smell like smoke. But Shadrach, Meshach, and that bad Negro was in a fiery furnace, and they walked out like there was no smoke in the boom.